Hey friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon and welcome to the Batavia Community Garden. It is Wednesday, June 16th. It is my first niece's birthday today, Stella, my goddaughter. Happy birthday. She turned 15 today. Can't believe it. It was so much easier when she was little. Firstborn. Welcome to the garden. I'm trying to do my best to shoot a video every Wednesday in the Batavia Community Garden here for Garden Jargon to give you an update on what's going on in the garden. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 beds that still need to be planted. And I went to see my friend today, Rob, who runs the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry Garden, the community garden over in Aurora that feeds the food pantry there, that I'm partners with the church, because I grow food at the church for the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry also. But I went to see him today because he got a huge donation from a local greenhouse called Schaefer Greenhouse. And he had tons of plants left over to give us. And so I thought, what better way to fill these empty beds with free plants? So that's what we did. So I got a bunch of stuff today from him, and I was driving in my car looking like a crazy person. I had straw bales hanging out my trunk and plants sticking out the window. It looked like a greenhouse, a mobile greenhouse. So I felt like I was rescuing plants. So some of them look pretty sad because he hasn't been able to water them, but I got some water on them today. I'm going to prune some things up. A lot of these little pepper plants have peppers on them already, which is so not okay. We got to get them in the ground, snip off the peppers to make sure that we promote the vertical growth before it starts setting fruit. So let me turn the camera around and show you what we have that we got donated today from Rob and Schaefer Greenhouse. There's my car truck. So we have fennel, or dill. Is this fennel? No, this is dill. And it already went to flower. So I have to do a little research on this. I don't know if I can trim this up or just let it go to seed and reseed where we're at. Where we plant it, this is some basil, some lemon basil. I'm sure these flowers are going to be beautiful and attract some pollinators. We have a whole tray here of cucumbers. I think these are the pickling cucumbers. Yes, pickling cucumbers. There's like 2 cucumber plants in each one of these cups, which is great. This entire bed is full of poblano peppers and jalapeno peppers, and I think that's parsley in the middle, some more herbs. These are the little pepper plants I was just talking about. These are Anaheim peppers, but there should not be fruit on these little tiny pepper plants right now. No way. So I did not bring my snippers. I'm going to bring them back so we can get these peppers off of here, so we can let these plants grow vertically so we can get some more harvest off of them. But I have a whole tray of those. Another whole set of pickling cucumbers right here. Those are burpless cucumbers right there. We have a whole tray. They're looking really sad. I really do hope they recuperate. We have chocolate mint over there. I've never grown that before. Some red basil there. We have Genovese basil here, which is your typical everyday basil. I have to prune this up, get the snippers out here. We have Italian oregano. This whole tray is oregano. It's going to smell so good in the garden. And then we got these red hot chili peppers. These are kind of like a Tabasco pepper. Some of them are setting fruit already. These little tiny fruits, we'll just pinch them off. Some more dill. Some more, oh, this is thyme, I believe. And then these peppers, let's see what they are. Yeah, pimento peppers. So red and green bell peppers here. And I think they're the same over here. Let's see. Yeah, pimento peppers. So again, these are setting fruit already, and we need to get all of these off. so that the plants can plant our vertical grow before they start setting fruit. We don't need fruit on them right now. We also got 3 more bales of straw. We got this straw last year from a farm out in Sycamore. It was like $4 a bale. We took the food pantry van out there. We filled it. And the guy was so kind, he gave us a couple extras. But what we found was there was seed in it. So everything that we mulched with that straw seeded weeds. It was horrendous. There was grass growing everywhere, wheatgrass. It was a mess. So Rob started mulching this season with that same straw, and he thinks because it had kind of like that cold stratification over the winter, it sat under a tarp all winter, he's not having any problems with the weed seed this year. So hopefully he wants to like stock up again this fall for next season, and hopefully won't have any of that weed seed. But you will notice, because we have things under straw out here, it stays damp under that straw so much better than if it doesn't have the straw. So in our beds right now, obviously you see nothing's in that bed. We have brassicas in this bed, which is silly, but we're just going to see how they grow. Brassicas should have been in the ground a long time ago, or not for another month and a half, because we have a very hot summer season here and they don't do good in the summer. This bed is empty. This bed right here, I just planted seed potatoes. Amanda had seed potatoes in her pantry, and so did I. So we put them in here, and then somebody donated some sweet potato vines. I've never grown those before, so we're going to see how those fare. I've never planted them before. I don't even know how they grow. And then these are our tomato rows. They're 18 inches apart. So we have 4 rows here of tomatoes. And then Flor came out and she plopped onions in there as well, so that they can start growing some onions. Then over here we planted a determinate variety of tomatoes. So that's this kind of wider bed. I think that's about 3 foot wide bed. We just laid some manure down here. This is for squash. And where all the flags are in this bed, and in this bed right here, you see the soil right there. That's where the holes are dug in the cardboard so that the squash roots can get down into the ground there. I did plant some squash last week, and they're popped up. They're looking pretty good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have squash here. I still have to bring some from home because they're only tiny little babies. I started them from seed, so I got to bring them back. This bed right here is still empty. And this bed is all peppers. And then this bed is all peppers. And then this bed is all peppers. And then these 3 beds right here are empty. But obviously got all of this yummy stuff that we put in these beds. I was going to throw some flowers in there. And in that front bed over there to just attract some pollinators. But maybe I'll just plug flowers in around certain flowers out here and see if that will work. Out here, I planted in this row with a straw. I planted this whole entire row with mammoth sunflowers, and you can see them popping up. Let me turn the camera around because this is really exciting. Look at those sunflowers. You can still see the little tiny seed on top of the sunflowers, but these are all mammoth sunflowers, and they are popped up all the way down this entire row. I put these in the ground and I seriously prayed for them because we have chipmunks out here and they didn't bother these sunflowers at all. I don't know if it's because it was, oh, some missing in here. Oh no, they're still in there. They're popping up. I don't know if it's because we planted them in manure or what, but they're popping up. We'll obviously have to thin them out because you can't have mammoth sunflowers growing that close together. They're giant. That sunflower was grown by a neighbor when I lived in Aurora. She had huge sunflowers on the side of her house, and I walked my dog one day and I said, what are you going to do with those sunflowers? And she said, I don't know. We just stuck them in the ground. We didn't know they were going to grow. And I said, yeah, they are. And she goes, yeah, but they're tipping over. I go, no, that's the squirrels. They tipped them over. She's like, you're kidding. And there's a big bunch of mess on the ground where the squirrel will crawl up the sunflower and it tips over, and then they eat, and you could see all the crumbs on the ground. So I showed her that. She was just amazed. By the time I walked my dog around the block, she handed me a garbage bag and was full of the top of those sunflowers. So I took them home. I shelled them. I got them all off of the whatever it's called. I washed them off. I soaked them in salt water, and I roasted them for them and took them a big, huge container of sunflower seeds. And then I saved some raw ones and let them dry out. And then that was the seeds that I planted last year. And then my sunflowers got huge. I actually put a pillowcase over 2 of them in my yard so the squirrels wouldn't get them, so that I could get the seeds from them. And these are the seeds from that sunflower. So it's been 2 years now that I finally got these mammoth sunflowers. I'm so excited. And then I just brought some of the seed starts of the zinnias that I started at my house. These are all zinnias right here. They're looking kind of leggy, but that's because I wasn't able to get them in the ground when they should have been in the ground, because I didn't know where we were going to have a garden. So I started them in little pots. So that is the update on the garden. Obviously, you still see cardboard everywhere. The cardboard is the walkways in this garden. We just need to fill it with wood chips. We have tons of volunteers. You can see that they've laid this thick layer of wood chips right behind me, as well as this way. This is an 8-foot walkway right down the center of our garden here. And over here is where we plan to build a seating area. And that green fence right there is a huge pumpkin. A friend of mine, very dear friend of our family's, got these seeds. Look at that pumpkin. Got these seeds from a friend of his in California. His name is Jimmy. So this pumpkin's gonna be named Jimmy. And this pumpkin seed grew in a 450-pound pumpkin last year. So we have that Jimmy pumpkin, and then you can see the 2 water jugs way over there on that side of the garden. There's 2 more pumpkin plants over there, and we're gonna let them grow in that whole open spot over there and see if we can get and prune it down to where those pumpkins get giant. The kids here, Amanda's kids, think that the pumpkin's gonna get as big as my car. So that would be cool. But that is the Batavia Community Garden. That's where we're at. We're still looking for volunteers to come out here and help us do some heavy lifting, get some of them wood chips over there from that pile into our garden beds so that we can have some walkways covered with wood chips. We're still working on a couple grants and some people to help us do that. But I want to try to keep this video short and sweet every week. On Wednesdays, I would like to post this video so you can see the growth of the garden that's happening out here in Batavia. All of this food that I just showed you that we're growing here in these garden beds is for the Interfaith Food Pantry and Eileen down there, for all the families of the less fortunate that need some food security. That's the word I was looking for. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Hopefully next Wednesday we have some good news and some nice little updates. And then every Friday I will post a video about the Wilson garden, which is the garden at my house. And then every Monday I will post a video for the community garden at the Ginger Creek. So I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everything that you do in your garden. I hope it brings you as much joy as it brings me. And I wish you the very best in your gardening adventures. Thanks for the guy mowing the lawn right now. Not like I'm shooting a video or anything. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and God bless.